what happens when, you say to someone, you can have a relationship with a higher power, with the Creator, with God, however you want to claim it. And they say, well, I need to touch it. I need to see it, because the mind in the Western world, in the North American world in particular we're talking about, is trained to see, to understand what we see is what we can believe. And what you're talking about is not seeing, but believing.
Do you want to get into string theory and try to explain how you can't always see things, but it doesn't mean they don't exist?
Well, I can't see the air between us right now, but I'm pretty sure that I can breathe.
Yes.
You know, I think people's expectations sometimes are unrealistic, and there's a lot of things that we can't see, but we can experience. And I think we can experience the love of God, and we can experience that sense of the sacred in our world, whether we feel like we see some, old man in the sky, which is not at all my image of God, but I think we see God in the loving relationships that we have with others. I think we see God in the way our world works.
Yes.
Everything works together. When we just don't mess it up, it all works beautifully. I think that's God, and that's evidence of God.
And I must say, it is very sad that we have created a society where we demand to be able to see and have proof of everything, and that there can't be mystery, and that there can't be an unknown, and there can't be something that I can't show you, but I could still experience, right? So it is sad, because that does lead to despair for people.
Yes.
If it isn't concrete, then it isn't real. And if it's not real, then, what purpose does my life have? And meanwhile, there's lots of mystery and lots of as Sue-Ann would say, things that you can't necessarily show, demonstrate, prove, but it still exists. It's still real.
Yes, yes. And there's so many symbols that we maybe can't fully understand, but show up in our life to confirm that we are part of something greater than ourselves, right? How would you identify something that's symbolic of God that you might experience in the quiet, in the forest, or going for a walk, or going to the grocery store? And do you think that God just is there randomly in you, around you?
So I think God's in everything. Right? I think God is enlivening us and all things. And I think that Christ is when, spirit and matter come together.
Yes.
And, it happened in a unique way in Jesus of Nazareth 2,000 or so years ago. But I think it's happening all the time in you and Jeff, in Jim and me, in everything that we can touch and see.
And experience.
Yeah. And experience. That's the piece, the experiencing piece.
Yeah.
I mean, when you say I experience joy, I mean, can you wrap your arms around that? No, but you still experience it, don't you? It's real. It's real when you feel that sense, or a sense of euphoria, or and we were talking about always depression and despair, but there's the opposite of that, and it's real. But I challenge you to put that in a bottle and show me what it looks like, right? It's
And it happens from the youngest age.
Yes.
I was spending time with my 1-year-old grandson on Monday this week, and his first word in life is wow. He looks at things and says, wow. And isn't that amazing?
And I challenge you to spend more than 3 seconds with him and not feel joy.
Yes.
Life is delightful for him.
Yes.
Do you think that we, as a society, because we are not practicing a spiritual, we don't have a spiritual practice in our civil society, that we are getting further and further away from understanding how to look at the dots and connect the symbols and to be aware of this internal peace and presence? Do you think, I mean, I know I asked it earlier, but I wonder, can you experience God if you have no lexicon for it, if you have no vocabulary for it?
I think a lot of people in our society worship money and not love. And I think that's part of the problem. When that is what we are attracted to, when we are seeking money and power and prestige and things that never fill us, it's very problematic. But that's what we are being taught to work towards. That's what we are being taught is important. And so people are disposable. Relationships don't matter. We don't have to work at them. We don't have to offer forgiveness to people or compassion to people, right? And I think that if we can help to nurture people from the youngest age to value relationships and to see love, and I would say God is love.
Yes.
And to see that and nurture that between people, and not just people, but the animals in our lives, and I don't know, the plants we're growing in our gardens.
Yes,
and,
totally.
Every little bit in the patch of earth that we inhabit.
Well, this is so interesting. You said compassion and forgiveness. So would you say those are disciplines or principles for cultivating or caring for a relationship that makes us feel more whole or less numb?
I certainly think for most of us, we have to be intentional about it. So imagine you work out regularly and you build muscle and stamina and so on. I think you have to do the same thing with those attributes as well. You have to intentionally, especially when people around you, and many in the structures in which we work and live, they certainly don't value that, and they certainly don't want people to be talking about that. I think that's another reason why people are struggling with things like spirituality. We have a society where we've kind of driven that out of our you talk about lexicons, we've driven it out of our normal life and practice, as though, and I understand why people have struggled with church and religion and so on. But that does, the unfortunate outcome of that is that we have stopped talking about things that are spiritual. We've stopped talking about how those things are an important part of our living. So.
And it hurts me when I hear people say, like, something is unforgivable. Everything must be forgivable. Right?
Murder.
Absolutely. Forgivable. Terrible thing, awful, great harm, but forgivable. If we look at our Christian scriptures, Jesus forgave everyone, even the people who were murdering him. He forgave everyone, 100%. And so I think we need to find ways, because if we can't forgive, we can't maintain any relationship, because we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to hurt the other person.
Yes.
And I believe there's a difference between, forgive. You can forgive and not forget. You can forgive and not say, I'm going to continue to allow myself to be injured by someone who wants to keep injuring me, right?
Right.
So, and that, because what Jesus taught us was that when I'm not forgiving, I'm the one carrying the burden.
Yes.
Right? And so I carry that, I keep carrying it. So if I want to be released of that burden, then I have to forgive.